So this video we're going to be doing is going through the practice and explore section of the cyber cartographer. We're going to be going to start our own services such as Telnet, such as FTP, and put SSH onto a high port, as well as FTP on a high port, and I'll show you how to detect those. Um, so if you want to do this, it's best to do in a team with more than one person, but you can do this on your own too. So I have my Ubuntu Linux setup, and I'm starting my Kali box, and I also started a couple of other ones. They're my team. All right, so getting into here, I'm going to find it a little bit easier inside of my box. I'm actually going to open up another tab and open my Kali box as well. So I've got my two VMs. I don't like me for that. Doesn't like me for that. Try that again. Um, so I should have my two VMs opened up, and we'll just do this kind of one at a time here. Fun. I know. We're gonna go backwards. Um, I win. All right. So first thing we're gonna do is basically just open up Firefox in this browser. I'm gonna do a lot of copying and pasting, and this whole like Control Alt Shift thing is a pain. So because we can reach the GitHub page from inside the range, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Uh, the terminal over here, I'm going to start a service that I know I'm going to need later. Um, so I'm going to open up a terminal, and I'm going to get Telnet installed on the Kali box first. So we're going to get this up and moving, and it'll say, yeah, and we're going to wait a little bit. And it'll ask us if we want to make changes, and we'll say, yes, we do. Um, but in the meantime, we're going to go see if this opened, which it did. All right, so um, JVoice1, GitHub, and this is okay. And we're going to be cyber cartographer. All right, so bringing this over because that's really all I need it for. Squeeze it in a little bit, and then come down to the section that we're looking for. It's going to get small over here. Doesn't really matter that much whether it's small because I'm just looking to copy and paste. And if I want to go back and really read things, I can always click on my tab up here. So that being said, first things first, we got Telnet, so we're going to start Telnet on this. And I wrote a little script. I would encourage you to open up these scripts and read it. I'm going to open this on the desktop because I want the files to end up on the desktop. And when I download things, I download them to whatever file or directory I'm in. So I'm just going to take this guy, copy over here, Control Shift V, and hopefully that, okay, so it downloads. And then what we're going to do is deploy this. Um, so sudo, it's a Python program. So Python 3, and then D, and tab to complete. And that's going to do all the things that I learned the hard way of that I need to do on some of these VMs so that um, Telnet is up and running. All right. In the meantime, I'm going to check my Kali machine, see if it's doing. So yes, please make changes. And while we're doing that over here, I'm going to open another terminal. So, so we're going to sit there and let this figure itself out for a little bit. while we're getting Telnet installed or Telnet up and running, and I'll come over here and take a look to make sure that we have everything we need. Yeah. Um, so pausing the video so you don't have to. All right, it's not done, but we're gonna show how to do scan for it over here anyway. So we're gonna say, okay, we're gonna install the package maintainers version, um, and do that scanning for Telnet, which is um, not hard. Not hard when we're doing these things, and I'll show you how to do it a couple different ways. Um, Partially due to we can use CIDR notation with the slashes. We can use just the IP addresses, or we can do this some other way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in bigger so we can see it a little better. All right, so over here, what I'm going to do is sudo nmap. I'm going to look for a specific port 23, and I'm going to look at the IP address range that I'm looking at. So 10, 15, 31. I know that I'm setting this up on 203, but we're going to pretend I don't know that. And so we're going to say like that, you know, go 190 to 210. So you can block this out in, the slash octet. You can do it kind of with the both of them. It's kind of a dirty way of doing it. And it has something has a service with this Mac at 203. Okay, so looks like our scan worked. Um, so just that scan alone gives us the IP address that we're looking for, which is 203 up here. Um, and it looks like we can found it. Now, if you can't find it, what you do is you look at your own services. I was going to show you this. It's a little bit out of order here, but if you oh shoot, web that and then tax TULN. That's going to give us a list of all the services that are running on the device that we're on. So what that means is if we look up here, we should see 23. So localhost, meaning like, we're here and listening on port 23 for outcoming things coming in. All right, so to use that telnet, now that we have telnet installed, really and it is on port 23, we should just be able to um, telnet to that 10, 15, 31, 203. It wants our login, so Ubuntu. I believe was our login, and our password was password. Maybe. Hey, dope. All right, so we just checked and made sure that we could validate what we just did. Um, so that being said, I'm going to pause the video and figure out what I'm going to do next. But for the cyber cartographer, you should try to validate that the service is up, the service is running, and then even if you can get in, what credentials you use, and putting all of those on the network map is super helpful. So pausing the video, and then I'll get you the next step here. All right. So before we get into the next one, I do want to show you this little other piece of command. So what I did here was took the same took the same file and I went and did the OG, which is output greppable, and then that little hyphen there is the command that you're putting in next, and then we're gonna pipe that command to open. So we're gonna look for open within that. So if you're looking for a larger stack, or you're looking through a lot of a lot more hosts, then it gives you this little more convenient piece. Okay, so clear out of this and then get back into here. Um, all right. So, next thing we're gonna do is copy, pasty, um, and then start this with our Python shield. So now we're gonna do FTP anonymous login. So this is gonna do a similar process of opening up an FTP server. And what we're going to do here is now CD into our where we would log into. So I don't think I have that on the site. I think I need to actually do that because in order to, yeah, I'll put this up onto the, I'm saying that it'll probably be changed if you're watching this. So I need to CD into SRV FTP. Let's first get to here. Um, just to see so there's only one folder inside the server, which is the FTP. So get into that FTP. And now what we're going to do is just nano. We're going to nano testing txt. I don't know. Okay, cool. So X out of there, save it. Yes. Enter. Oh, ooh, fun. Permission denied. Okay. So maybe. Okay, if I can't do it this time, I'll have to pause the video and figure out where I'm going wrong here. Um, that worked. So, that being said, if we come here and do this again, so standard is going to be port 21. So what we were looking for this time is port 21 when we do our netstat um, QLN. I know it might be a little out all over the place, but really here we go. This told me that I am now listening on port 21 for incoming calls, right? So we should be able to find a 21 in our listen. So that's an indicator um, that we are listening. And I'd have to go back and see what, and it looks like we have listening on 22 as well. But we just don't have anonymous login yet. We're also listening on 80 in case we're having a web server, and there's other services associated with these things. And honestly, this is a lot of where malware is kind of like listening for things or getting its callbacks. All right, so we know that we validated this on this side. And so now what we're going to do is go back into our Kali um, and find where we're scanning for FTP. So I didn't put this all down here as just like a total walkthrough because the rest of this site has FTP on it. Um, and we can see that, well, FTP and port. So if you're looking for things to scan, um, we can do that in the very same way that we did before, which is basically come all the way up. And I don't know if that would be not quite sure what it's going to set. We're going to try it at grep open because that makes sense. But we're just going to replace that with a 21 and see what happens with that. Okay, so we have ports 21, yep, 203. So and doing that kind of the other way, if you want to just not remember all those flags, it'll give you the same output. It'll just be more complicated to parse through. So you're going to see that it has 21 on 207. Oh, interesting. So somebody's up and listening on 207, dude. That might have been me earlier. Uh, so if we know that the service is running and it's on the standard port, we should just FTP into 10.15.31.203. Um, and this was the anonymous login. See if it connects password. You don't have to press password, just hit enter. And it looks like successful login happened. Successful login happened, so we're going to ls, and this right here is our testing. Now, we didn't go through the chmod part before. I know it's on the site, but I'm going to try if I see if I can get this. Download this to my computer. Although notice I'm not in my desktop, so that'll be kind of a problem. But because it's not going to show up on the desktop, which is kind of what I was hoping. So get and then start writing in and tab complete that, and I might get permission denied, but I didn't get permission denied. So that script will run and it'll let you download this thing. And then if I come out of here and quit ls, and now I can just cat that testing, and you can see testing again. All right, so um, that is looking for the FTP from setting it up on this side, validating that it's running on this side of things, the Ubuntu side of things, and then searching for it and hunting for it over here. There is another command that we're going to have to run with this, um, or that you can run with this, and that is going to be something very similar to what we just did. So I'll clear out of this. And this time, what I'm going to look for is sudo nmap, same deal, right? And this time, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run a script on each of these. Um, I don't know if this is going to be necessary for what you're doing, because you might have so few IP addresses that you're running, like 15 of them, that it's not gonna make a lot of sense. But this script will run um, and search for that group, and it'll tell you FTP anonymous code is allowed, right? So, oh, and even even did get in and tell us what was there. So that worked out great. And then you can also remember, if you just want to um, do all of this from a file, um, you can just ping scan the network. So if I just come over here, and I were to run a ping scan on this, so if I would get rid of everything and pump that into my file, although this is going to be down more of a rabbit hole, because this is just going to make the, like, if I call this hosts, like, with details. Uh, oh, here I am again in my non-desktop. I'm actually going to change that. All right, so what we're going to do is two things here, just because it's good practice. Um, so we're going to, yeah, sudo nmap, and then just ping scan um, this, 10.15.31, and we said what, 190 to 200 and 213, sure. and then we're gonna pipe that to like hosts up on the network with details. That TX. So that when it gets done is gonna give you more than you want to know. Wonder isn't 207. Um, that's gonna give you more than you necessarily need to know. Um, and so what you need to do is go kind of all the way back up to just the hosts. Because if you try to run a scan based on that, then it's not going to give you the details you want. So the details you want are, yeah, right back up right here, that guy. Um, that's host up on the net. So if I copy this right, um, and I will have to do this backwards thing again. Okay. And then I make my scan what it was up top. That should only give me the IP addresses when they're done. So okay, so these are the IP addresses. Now I can use that hosts folder to search things, and that's where that like IL flag comes in. Is you're looking for your color. So if I were to take this script anon and I were to do IL and then hosts, uh, it should give me the same response. So putting all your hosts in a folder means you don't have to rescan every single time. I know that was kind of out of left field and still part and parcel of this, because the other thing we need to do is find SSH and scan for high ports. Um, so I'm going to pause this for a moment and reflect on what I just did. All right, so I got two new machines um, up and running. So I'm going to open a terminal here and I'm going to open a terminal here. Um, and then I'm going to go ahead and just cheat and put these into my hosts, um, because I know where they are and I showed you how to scan the thing. So really see the need to totally go back, and you can just cheat and put in um, things if you know their IP addresses and you want them scanned. I'm going to go ahead and save that now and get back over here. And I'm also going to do this one a little bit more, I don't know, straightforward. So window open, paste that, and then so I'm going to go ahead and get, and then while that's open, might as well download on both sides, and then run them on both machines. So we're gonna have two machines this time. Um, that wasn't intended. Ow, arg. Um, so what I gotta do is I gotta actually copy this. I thought I was gonna save myself some hassle by not going into that, but whatever. All right, so getting back into this, starting starting the service, and seriously, once again, like pull the code apart if you're curious. I'm teaching how to use the tools. I'm building a lot of the tools for you. A lot of these tools are just in existence as they are. But if you're curious about it, dig into it, figure it out, see what I did wrong, see what I did right. Like they take a lot of guessing and checking and figuring it out. Someday I might be good enough that I have to guess and check fewer times. Um, but that's not always the case. So what we're going to do is be looking at this this high ports section. So FTP services on high ports. I think we're down here in maybe section 6. Yeah. So this is what we're looking at. And I know it's really got awfully tiny. Um, this is what we're looking at doing. And I think you can imagine that I'm going to replace the I'm going to replace this with my IL hosts because I don't want to scan everything forever. All right, so this guy up and running, this guy up and running, and so therefore I should be able to. So this is 8061, and this is 5160. Cool. So I should be able to find that if I do netstat tech. And if you want to look for things in ports on computers that you get into, you should be able to see that. So what do you say? 5160. There we go. Listening here. Yeah, cool. And I imagine we do the same thing. We're going to see the same thing. Um, and yeah, 8061. So, all right, getting back into that and to do the high port thing. So we made sure we have those on our list. We have 21 on there. We have 36. Oh, okay. That's my own IP address. Um, so we got 1021 and 46. Okay. All right, so we're gonna try to do this, and this might take a while because we're scanning so many ports. I told you that 21,000 to 24,000 are the ports that we'll ever really use, and so coming back into this, um, finding it for myself, we are going to sudo nmap ports 21,000. And then we're gonna look for open. So we're gonna look for open, and then we're going to look for these services, and we're going to look for that in the IL hosts. That's fixed. And remember, we could, we could save these things. Um, we could save these for, the output, right? And sorry, output results. We could turn this into a text document, or we could just kind of make it happen. This might be a while, um, so I'm going to pause it. So the scan, um, it told me I was wrong. It told me over here, 8,000, 5160. I was 21,000. I thought I'd need to re get into those programs and make sure I have them right in those scripts. So if we do this, it does take some time because you're scanning a lot of ports. And we're only scanning four hosts, but we do end up getting all of the services. So just kind of real quickly here, um, we have SSH running here, um, and interestingness at the. All right, so we're gonna first start SSH. So I'm gonna get into this box with SSH. So 10, 15, 10, 21, and then I should just be able to put in the port number, which was 8061. Ooh, fun. So I think I need to maybe add a P in front of it. And if that doesn't work, I'll go research. Okay, cool. Um, yes. And password is password. Huh. Oh, interesting. Um, all right, so I'm gonna control out of this because I didn't set the passwords on these yet. I thought all the passwords were the password, but it might just be Cali. Um, and we'll see if that was it. No, it doesn't like that either. Um, so, all right, so put out of that with Control C, and look into what this other one looks like. So my guess is that is the FTP server, and it wasn't detecting it as such. So, and my guess is not because that's what I tried to set it up there. So FTP and that. And then port on that was 59. All right, and that looks like it didn't even ask. Oh, I'd say anything up on that. Okay, so putting out of this, clearing out of this, and getting into that FTP because I want to make sure I can do that. All right, so the this problem got solved. So the issue I had before, I remember when I was coming up here and I was gonna SSH into this guy. Yeah, so I needed a username in order to do this, which I should have caught that right away. But FTP anonymous was right there. So yeah, yeah, and okay. So hiccups there, but that's kind of fun. So we're gonna exit out of this and then go back to the remember. So SSH, gotta remember the username, and then your TAC P, and then your port number. Um, one more thing. Last one is going to be the FTP on the high ports. All right, so I just downloaded the GitHub spot for that script for the high port, and now I'm going to run this.